We may be nearing the end of an era. Today, Sears said it had, quote, substantial doubt, end quote, it could survive much longer in today's changing retail environment. The stock fell 11% at the opening bell as a result, and although you, like most of America, probably haven't shopped at Sears in years, this one has people taking notice. Sears was a retail staple for shoes, electronics, clothes, jewelry, bedding, tools, not to mention the family portraits so many of us came to dread, and now sitcoms and movies love to make fun of. And who among us didn't eagerly await the arrival of Christmas Wish Book each year?
Just make a list, check it twice, then call 1-800-366-3000.
You didn't even have to go to the store anymore, which, as it turns out, may have been the beginning of the end for the 131-year-old former retail icon, which has recently struggled to keep up with its online competitors. Is Sears teetering on the edge, a harbinger of things to come for other retail giants? Joining me are Shirley Leung, business columnist for the Boston Globe, who, we're happy to say, is also our newest WGBH News contributor. Congratulations, nice to see you, Shirley. And Rajiv Lal is professor of retailing at Harvard Business School. Pleasure to meet you. Thanks so much for being here. Is this as simple as Sears selling the old way and the new way is what everybody's embracing?
No, I think Sears as a department store in general is in trouble. I mean, they've been sick for a while, and I think what you're seeing today is just the natural outcome of this progression. And many other retailers, especially department stores, find themselves in a similar situation.
Right. Retail, from what I understand, stores down 6% sales, online shopping up 11%. So this is just part of a trend that they couldn't escape. Is it or isn't it?
Well, Sears and Kmart, are particularly in trouble. I mean, they are in the no man's land of retail.
What does that mean?
They are being eaten alive at the bottom by Target and Walmart, by the discounters, and then at the top they can't really compete with Nordstrom and not even Macy's. I mean, Macy's has survived because they've just managed to buy all the competitors out, like Filene's and Marshall Field's, and shut them down.
But how do you think, when you, was it today or yesterday, I can't remember, when Amazon announces that in greater Boston you can get a package delivered in 1 hour.
That's right.
How seductive is that? How does a place like Sears ever compete anymore?
No, it's not, and that's why you see what's happening. I mean, if you, as Shirley was saying, I mean, Sears has lost its distinctiveness in this retail space. If you ask the question, what do they stand for? Is it price? Is it selection? Is it unique products? Is it the sales environment? You can't say anything about it, right? So if you don't have anything distinctive, there's no reason for a customer to go to a store because there are so many more alternatives, including, as you said, at the bottom you got other retailers like Walmart, Amazon on the other hand, and on the top you got Macy's and other.
Forget Amazon just for a second. Walmart and Home Depot are avoiding this trend.
That's correct.
Why? I mean, you said Walmart because they're really low cost. Is that the notion? Why is Home Depot? What's that about?
Well, Home Depot is unique now. I mean, they've driven out a lot of the hardware stores. So if you need a lawnmower, I mean, where do you go? You don't go to Sears. You actually go to Home Depot. They actually found their niche, and so that's what Sears doesn't have anymore.
Actually, Home Depot has done a fabulous job in terms of using the internet. So they have really looked at their assortments very, very carefully and the sections of the store where they can make a difference with the help of internet. So if you think about home improvement, they're using internet beautifully in terms of helping people conceive what your home improvement might look like.
But can the Searses of the world, to use the plural, the generic, can they reinvent themselves? I mean, is there something in the Home Depot model, is there something in the Walmart model that could cause a Sears and places like them to reinvent themselves and stay afloat? I
mean, they tried with the, is it Lambert, right? The Ed Lambert bought them. He tried to reinvent Sears. I think they're a goner. I mean, they bought Land's End, hoping that Land's End would bring in new customer base. I mean, that's the only reason why I go to Sears to return stuff that I bought from Land's End. And
I go to pretend I use tools. By the way, I buy them and I never use them.
But I used to, I would shop at Sears for tools, but I go to or appliances or electronics, but I go to Best Buy. There is something else now. So I think they're a goner.
So not only are Sears-like stores goners with these couple outliers we mentioned, are malls that they're attached to goners too, or can they reinvent themselves?
So malls are having a tough time. I mean, foot traffic is down almost 10%. And there are some people who are beginning to ask a fundamental question as to how to think about reshaping a mall which is in line with the needs of the local community. So,
Well, some people includes you, doesn't it?
That's right.
So how are you rethinking it? So what's the mall of the future that survives?
So the mall of the future has two parts to it. One is to think about a portfolio and have some optionality, and the leases should be shorter. Okay, so this way you can bring things in and bring things out. Right now, when you sign a lease of 15 or 20 or 30 years, you are basically have tied yourself with the future of these.
So is a
retailers.
variation on pop-up stores? I mean, long-term pop-up stores is essentially what you're
that's
describing?
one way to think about it. But on the other hand, you also want to think about the communities that you are in and think about what exactly do those communities need. It's more about dining, it's more about entertainment, it's more about services.
Is it possible we're just postponing the inevitable? I mean, it seems to me, the perverseness, you and I have discussed this, of Amazon driving bookstores out of business. Then when they've driven them all out of business, opening a brick-and-mortar bookstore. Are we not headed to a place where there is no brick-and-mortar anymore, except as showrooms, and then you go home and you order? You're saying, yes, that's the future.
Well, I mean, we wrote a book talking about this very subject, but I think what is happening is today, if you take a look at some of the technologies that is coming on board, I think this will give you a renaissance in stores, actually. Because
Where are you on this?
I mean, I think the store of the future is about experience. I mean, look what happened to the movie industry. I mean, they closed all these theaters, but now in Boston, we're opening new theaters, and they're making it more of experience. There's alcohol. You want to go. You want to spend a little bit more. So we have to change our experience of, it's not just you go and buy something anymore. It has to be something else.
It's almost like the Apple Store. I mean, the Apple Store,
Yes.
you go to Chestnut
That's
Hill Mall,
right.
which I did the other day.
Exactly.
Place is empty, Apple Store packed.
Exactly.
Shirley, great to see you. Congrats. We love having you as a contributor. Pleasure to meet you.
Same here,
Take care.
James.
Hope to see you again soon.